If you've been offended and genuinely want to heal, I am shooting this video for you because the truth is that a lot of times, maybe in our family dynamics, maybe when it comes to friends that we hold dear to heart, or even when it comes to a romantic partner in the past who have betrayed us, a lot of times we do feel like we need to hold on to the pain that they have inflicted on us. And I understand you. In fact, if you've clicked on this video, I know you're going through something like that. And I know what you are suffering through. And there is a solution, my friend. There is a solution because this is not simply, it's not simply a personal issue, although it seems like it. It's also a collective one in terms of every human goes through betrayal, every human goes through being hurt, every human goes through being disappointed, goes through such an experience. So it's all part of the human game. And I know you see me in a different setting, maybe the last couple of videos, but I'm trying to really try different things here. And I'm in this field with a lot of cows you can see in the background. So I suppose it's a little bit of a healing environment. So going back to the topic, what do you do when you've been hurt, when you've been offended, and you find it really hard to be in the presence of that person who has inflicted you the pain you're going through, you're suffering through? You know that it doesn't feel comfortable, does it? Of course it doesn't. You know that you don't want to hold on to that pain for forever. You know that there must be a solution, there must be a time, a moment in your life where you find the courage to look within, to focus on that pain, as harsh, as disgusting, as ugly as it feels, and try to accept it to the best of your ability. Because what other options do you have? Let me ask you that. Would you like to hold on to that suffering for all of your life, knowing that inevitably it will manifest in new relationships that you start building? Because this is how the wall of karma works in a way. When we don't let go of the pain that somebody has inflicted to us, and when we don't find the courage to try and understand how we are also playing a role in that dynamic, how maybe we have also unconsciously created that situation for us, the situation in which we got offended, the situation in which we created the circumstances in which we could be hurt. If we don't take a moment to accept our part of the equation and see how we are also responsible. Maybe we have been negligent with our boundaries. Maybe we didn't speak up. Maybe, and I know from personal experience, I've experienced this many times in my relationships. I've suppressed my feelings. I've suppressed what my heart wants to speak, wants to share. I have suppressed my needs out of fear that I would be rejected, out of fear that I wouldn't be understood. And what happened inevitably, since that was my unconscious intention of why I didn't speak up, is that I was wearing rose-colored glasses. I was naive. And then inevitably I was disappointed. I was betrayed. I was hurt. So as hard as it was to look at that pain that I felt within and to acknowledge it, to give it some time, to give it some space, more importantly, when I didn't do that, for the time being that I didn't do that, it was only perpetuating. And then I experienced almost the exact same pain in different kind of relationships. When I was in this situation in my life where I didn't find the courage to speak up with my father and to share my boundaries, to state my boundaries, to affirm my boundaries there, I was people pleasing in all of the rest of my relationships. I wasn't able to be myself, to be authentic, to be genuine with my friends. I was allowing other people to step on top of me for their own benefit. I was surrounded, and there were a lot of, not a lot of, but there were narcissistic people in my life who were taking Yeah, that's a curious sound from one of the cows. There are a lot of people in my life who are just being in a one-sided relationship with me since I didn't want to take responsibility. I didn't want to take ownership for the pain that I felt, for the offense that was inflicted on me. And then once I finally found the courage within, I was able to break through that pattern, to break through that cycle. And let me tell you this, I know how hard this is. I know how hard it is to drop the righteousness that we feel, that it's not fair, and this victim position that we put ourselves in when we feel offended, when we feel hurt, when we feel betrayed, and to point the finger to the person who has hurt us. Maybe that's a family member, maybe that's an ex, maybe that's a friend of yours that you hold dear to heart, close to heart. I know how hard it is to drop that dynamic, to drop that way of seeing that they have inflicted that on you, and so it's not fair. So you shouldn't just forgive, you shouldn't just drop that. I know that it's hard. Yet, what other options do you have? Let me ask you this. Would you like to suffer and repeat that same dynamic in the rest of your relationships? Would you like to always be skeptical? Would you like to always be doubting the new people who enter in your life, that they will treat you the same way that you've been treated before? Because this is how it works. Unless you take ownership, unless you assume that you have been responsible, at least to a certain degree, if you don't take that ownership, you will continuously blame and point fingers. And what do you think will happen? You will only have to repeat that same cycle all over again. And so my question at the end of this is, how long are you willing to suffer? How long are you willing to play that victim game? Because it has an end. When you choose to end this, you'll be able to take responsibility for the pain that has been inflicted on you. And I know you are capable of that. I know you are capable because I myself has passed through that. And maybe if you're going, because this video is probably for the people who are passing through a spiritual awakening, who are just being able to see and to find their power, who are on the path of personal development, of personal growth, and you are taking responsibility of your social circles, of the people around you, of how they treat you, of the dynamics you experience in your relationships. Most likely you relate to what I'm saying. So when would it be time to take ownership? If not now, then when? Because you will. And I'm sorry to say that to you. I know it can be painful, but you will inevitably have to experience that dynamic again if you don't find the courage to look within, reflect on the part of you that feels responsible, and find the courage also to forgive yourself. We are humans, we make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Yet if we are able to find the courage and forgive ourselves, then even though we have created painful experiences for ourselves, they have meaning. And that meaning is sufficient enough to give us the courage to forgive and move on. So when would the time come? I know your time is now. Can you let go of the fact that you've been offended and take ownership of the feelings that you feel inside? Stay with me for a moment. I want you to focus. If you feel that the time has come, I want you to just, for a moment, expand your attention, awareness, so that you're able to look at all of yourself. Not only stay in your head, but also look at what's happening down in your body. Maybe in your belly, how do you feel? What is there? What are you able to feel? Is there tenseness? Is there heaviness inside of you? Is there any form of resistance? This is where your attention should be if you want to forgive, if you want to take ownership. Because, my friend, it's not necessary to hold on to that pain. You can let it go, and it is safe to let it go. and you deserve it. You deserve it. It's your birthright for you to position yourself in a place where you are able to fulfill your needs, to care for your own well-being, to love yourself for who you are, no matter where you are on your journey. You're doing amazing. And this is a fact. You can take ownership of your feelings. The more you do that, the less you'll be able to experience this unconscious, toxic relationship dynamics that I know you're tired of. So this was my message for me today, and I'm genuinely inspired to share my experience with that, because I've went through a lot of these codependent relationships, one-sided relationship dynamics. And at this stage, I don't experience that any longer, because I'm taking responsibility of my feelings. I'm speaking up whenever the time is up, whenever it's required. I'm sharing my boundaries, holding on to my boundaries, and internal boundaries also. And I'm fulfilling my needs for myself so that I can share what my needs are and be heard, be understood by those friends around me, by my closest people. And I know you deserve the same. So take the time, look within, let go, and let love come in. That was my message. Thank you so much for staying with me, and I will see you around in the channel. Bye bye for now. Enjoy your day.